previously on Alone in the Dark.
We went through a lot of trouble to get you and that stone together, Theo. You'll be our light bringer.
Crowley is the one behind this chaos. He made me retrieve the stone. Here's the stone you've carried for so long.
Light is Lucis, and to bring is Pharaoh. So Lightbringer is actually Lucifer.
I know I've done fucked up things in the past. I can feel it. Something to do with the stone.
Meet me at the museum, Edward. Room 943.
I'm looking for something.
Like what?
Room 943.
Go down one level and through an underground tunnel. Use the forklift, it'll go faster. Everything is digitally controlled around here, so you better hope that I'm still around when you come this way.
For you, there will be no mercy.
Finally. About fucking time.
A lonely place. Feels like Theo.
I really hoped he would be here, waiting for us.
Take a look at this. There's writing. Theo, my pupil, and I. 1936. You haven't changed.
Barely. But Theo's dead, and it leads me nowhere.
Hey, what the hell?
Don't move.
This is insane. What the fuck's going on? Can you come closer? I'm scared. Edward! Can you turn your flashlight on? You heard that? Could you go check it out?
And indeed, it is time to start a little bit of supernatural sleuthing, though first thing is first, there is going to be a guide to help us through our journey into the investigation, in the form of our ghostly friend Theo here. What exactly is he trying to draw our attention to?
Here, it's written... Sarah.
Me? Oh no, no. Tell me it's a coincidence.
Well, Sarah, I hate to say it, but I don't think anything that's going on right now is by any means a coincidence.
I want you to...
Yeah, in fact, Theo is trying to very distinctly give us a message.
knock.
It's a bit of a mystery still, though, just exactly what he's trying to say.
him.
Down. Sarah, I want you to...
Sarah, I want you to knock him down. Thanks, Theo. Sounds like you're gonna have to kick my ass.
But I don't want to hurt you. I could...
I know, it sounds absurd, but hey, you dream of it. Okay, let's do it, Sarah. Not an option.
All right. Before, I wanted to tell you that...
You don't hate me that much? That's it?
Okay. Give me that thing here. I'll stay next to you.
We have no time. I died to join you here, because this war is raging on every plane of existence. The stone you're carrying offered men fortune and eternal life. They called it the Philosopher's Stone, but they were fooled. When Lucifer was deposed from heaven and forced to live among men as a mortal, he designed an artifact that would carry his soul through time, waiting for the right moment to take his revenge. Lucifer was trapped in his own creation, but I have released him. Now he's searching for the stone, because it can recast his fate as well as ours. Like people, Central Park hides secrets you shall exhume. Some are lethal, but one of them can save us. Now wake up and close your eyes.
Edward, did something happen? You said something about eyes.
Close my eyes. Theo told me
What?
So the famed alchemist item, the Philosopher's Stone, is made by Lucifer and was the key to his immortality. It's a lot to take in, but before all that, there is one final thing that we need to figure out in this room by closing our eyes one more time.
My God! That's incredible!
Yeah, what exactly was Theo hiding down here?
Hey, look at this.
Okay, let's see this.
So we finally get some more concrete evidence of what might be going on from Theo. Seems there might be a castle hidden away somewhere in Central Park, built by the Templars, and we might need a lens to find something regarding it. In addition to that, we also find a letter that Theo had written to Edward from today, and it mostly covers the fact that it was the Philosopher's Stone that kept Edward so young, but in turn also corrupted him and may have caused him to do quite a bit of evil. As to what that is, we might not find out, ever. Theo also runs down a little bit regarding that poem that we saw inscribed in the stone there. Mentions both Mars and Venus. He assumes that Mars is Edward, but he was unsure about who Venus might be. Though we might have some inkling about who that is. Finally, the last entry here is in regards to a doorway that will open via the Path of Light. which seems to be just a beam of light projected through that aforementioned lens. And, well, I could have sworn next to this little SD card, there looked to be something of a lens.
The hands of Venus will shape the lock to this door, while Mars will fight to bring the key back to the core.
Yeah, so while Sarah ponders that, we do want to go ahead and pick up that lens. The main problem is, yeah, it seems like it is going to take up a slot in our jacket, so we want to go ahead and throw something off our left-hand side. And honestly, we aren't going to need any more batteries at this point. I think that even in that previous room, there is absolutely no way to run out of battery power, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to solve some of the puzzles in there. But from that document, I think all we are going to have to do is shine our flashlight through this lens here. And by doing so, we get a somewhat peculiar icon. Now, I haven't really shown it before, but this icon shows up on the loading screen, and I think it is of some importance to the overall plot line. It's just, well, in this overall chamber here, there are a number of symbols, it's just none of them happen to match this particular one. Thing is, though, the eagle-eyed viewer might have noticed in that previous room that, amongst all that carnage and chaos, that there was a symbol painted on one of the walls. And, just so happens, that it is exactly the symbol that matches the one that's projected from the lens. Still, though, we didn't really get a chance to look around this room too much before all that carnage, and there are, I don't want to say Easter eggs, but little indications of some of the investigations that Theo had done, I guess, while Edward was away. Nice little touches, but what we want to do to progress is to stand on this X and project our beam.
Now I understand. Here's my part in all this. I have to build the lock to that door. This is what I was meant to do, right?
Right. I'm heading to the old castle. Build this lock and maybe we'll see the end of this soon.
Trust me. And take care.
So it seems that Sarah has fully thrown herself into this previously unknown destiny where she is going to be Venus and helping our Mars to, well, do something. And it's at this point that things kind of get a little bit weird. I mean, I don't think Templars really built Central Park or a museum anywhere in New York, or really did anything outside of Europe in the 16th or 17th century. And it kind of goes against the whole idea about being alone in the dark, in that you're going to have to be a couple to solve the problem. Still, we are going to have to deal with a little bit of combat here. So we're going to get some flammable bullets ready and throw ourselves into the fray. Now, two rat's nests are really not that difficult to deal with, and normally I'd probably say just ignore it. But we are going to have to take things a little bit slow and steady here in this very strange, out-of-the-way underground cavern here. I assume since it was connected to that room in that large chamber, that it must have been something built by the Templars. Just doesn't really have much of an explanation. Especially considering what we are going to have to do to progress forward. There isn't too much down here. We can kind of see ahead to some of the future areas. But it mostly seems to progress that we are going to have to lift that little bridge there, and to do so, we are going to have a special companion join us since Sarah is no longer available. And I'm pretty sure Edward is going to enjoy this because he enjoys a good forking time. So the forklift is pretty much like any other vehicle. The only difference is that, well, it has an additional ability of being able to lift stuff. In this case, though, sometimes the fork can be a little bit cumbersome, can sometimes get caught up on geometry. But we can lift and lock that bridge into place. And we want to make sure and lock that into place because, well, we are going to need our forklift buddy here to progress through the rest of this area. Yeah, it's a pretty large change in gears after all the fighting and boss battling that we had to do in the previous chapter where everything was, well, pretty tough. This chapter is more do a little bit of investigation and then do a little bit of forking. And that's not really to say it's bad. It's nice to have a little bit of variety here and there. It's just a little bit out of nowhere. So here we have another puzzle. This one's a little bit more complicated. We have some apparati over to the left, which I assume is going to be operated by this lever here. It's just that all that lever seemed to do was to pop out this piece of timber, I guess. Though that does give me an idea about how we can progress. First things first, though, we want to go ahead and retract in that piece of wood. Next, we want to use our forklift to, I guess, elevate that piece of rubble there. Because I think that should make a pretty nice incline for us. You probably see where this is going, but after we prop this up, we just want to pop back out that piece of timber, and that should be able to hold it up so we can progress forward with our forklift. Also, just in case you were worried that there wouldn't be any real combat, well, there's not. Somehow I managed to get exceedingly lucky there, and actually did not expect to do that so quickly. But yeah, if you get pretty proficient with the gun and fire bullets, most of the humans with a Z are pretty easy to take down. Yeah, with that incline now propped up, we can progress forward, taking care of these boxes in our way. And out of nowhere, we do get a brand new message. Thankfully, this time around, it is not continued harassment from Crowley. Instead, it is some new intel from Sarah. It seems as she's been going through Theo's computer, she's got a little bit more information, though this is kind of superfluous. Just kind of tells us that the same person that invested in the museum also invested in Central Park, so I'm assuming that everything we're running into is just kind of interconnected, and that's why, I don't know, there's a old passageway connected to whatever this building is supposed to be. I mean, I guess this could be a storehouse for the museum, what with all the crates and things, but it seems to be in such massive disuse that I don't know. It's just really hard to tell. What's not hard to tell, though, is the continued strategy of making sure to take care of the rat's nest before you take care of the rats. And I will say, hopefully you did manage to keep a good stock of flammable items, because as you might have noticed, there's not much in the way of supplies down in this area. At most, there is 1 or 2 lockers in this very close general vicinity, but yeah, if you're not careful, you might have to just entirely try to ignore the rat's nest while solving these pretty simple forklift puzzles. Yeah, by placing those boxes down, we can now scale upwards. And thankfully, Edward does have some mad ups, so he is able to scale this fairly easily. And our forward progression is opened up. Still, it's a bit sad they didn't put any secret items or caches of items hidden away up here. Be a pretty good reward for doing a little bit of extra exploration. Still, we are almost done with this area. And I do have to commend the forklift for being probably the most reliable form of transportation so far in the game. It hasn't flipped over or done any kind of weird barrel rolls. And it's done its job very well. It'll be a nice bright future for the both of us. Or maybe not. It seems that fate has something against Edward keeping helpful companions. And it's at this stage, well, to progress forward in his quest, he's going to have to make a sacrifice. Because even though that bridge might have just stayed propped open or propped up with the forklift, this gate will not do the same. And it's with a very heavy heart that I guess we're going to have to say goodbye to our forklift friend. Goodbye forever, friend. And after that tearful goodbye, we make our way out of the underground into a mysterious new area. And you might very well be wondering just where in the hell we might end up now. Well, it seems that we have managed to make our way safely out of the museum, back out into the big wide open world. And well, it looks like we might already have an objective marker for where we need to head next, so without further ado, let's go ahead and head over there.
Just speak one little phrase and I can pull you out of there.
No, cut the dramatic bullshit, Crowley. What do you want?
The stone card me. Just tell me you'll give it to me. Or must I be content with watching you dissolve into that black film? You have 10 seconds.
Fuck off.
Here, let me give you something to think about.
And that dastardly Crowley needs to put us into this horrible death-like situation. In all honesty, though, it's pretty simple. It's pretty nice to give us a very large spotlight to keep ourselves safe in, and he's not really that hard to follow. Just really, I don't think Crowley's got this whole evil antagonist thing down very well.
Are we having a nice walk in the park? And so obedient. My dog could take lessons from you.
Son of a bitch, I'll... Fine, you win. Lower the fucking rope already.
I've grown tired of chasing you, Carnby. You should have been dead long ago.
Sorry, punctuality isn't one of my strengths.
Give it to me. Please.
Not so fast. I want some answers first.
Don't play games with me, boy.
If the stone is cursed, why do you want it? What about the path of light?
The stone deserves better than that ridiculous prophecy. Happy endings are for fools. To hell with mankind. I was born to carry that stone. The rest is no concern of yours.